But Lauren, can you just imagine the political, like you would expect someone like Ramaphosa to actually say something when something like this happens. You would expect the whole president of the country to say that, guys, we are not we condemn what actually happened. As the ANC, we do not stand for violence, and we want the people that actually shot that person to be found and to be held accountable. This is a big story, and I believe that people are not paying attention to it, but it is a big story. Just imagine 7 bullets on, like, this guy is an ANC activist.
The 360 experience with Thomas M.
So, what is happening in Tshwane? I know you've been wanting to talk about the issue of Tshwane, and I know you probably have some few words for me because I was a bit harsh on your president these couple of days. But what's going on in Tshwane? Because people are worried about, and I think people are genuinely worried about Herman Mashaba and the position that Action SA has taken to side with the ANC. We know that Herman Mashaba is one of the people that has been very strong to say that, okay, I don't want to work with the ANC, even when other political parties said, let's give it a try, let's work with the ANC, let's give it a try. But Herman Mashaba is one of those people who said, no, I don't want to work with the ANC because I believe that it is going to taint me. But we saw something very surprising in Tshwane when Herman Mashaba decided to work with the ANC and the EFF to oust the DA mayor Silas Brink. And after that, Herman Mashaba went on television and he said that he will support the ANC's mayor depending on who it is. So does Action SA actually believe that ANC can give them someone who is capable enough to run the city of Tshwane?
Thomas, yes, thank you. There's a lot of things that happen, and before I answer your question, I'd like just to go back a little bit. Um, all the political parties that signed the multi-party charter or the so-called moonshot pact all agreed not to work with the ANC. So we have to start from that point of view. And uh, the moment 29 May came and the election results are coming out, and the DA was at that stage already speaking to the ANC on a national level. So Tony Leon, Helen Zille, and those people were already in negotiations even before the actual elections. We're aware of that. And what actually happened further is that after that was created, or this grand coalition was created, they basically said, look, let's see if we can have a government of local unity between the ANC and the DA on a countrywide spread. Now, they managed to get something going in Natal, although the DA only got 13% of the vote there, but they were happy to take some positions there as well. And then they started speaking to Fikile Belula and saying, listen, you got to speak to Lesofia and Gauteng and say, listen, guys, we want to work with these guys. So the Gauteng said, guys, yes, we are prepared to work with the DA, yeah? And they offered them some positions in the legislature, and this basically was not accepted by, and I just have to say, it's not that it's not accepted by the DA structures in Gauteng, it's not accepted by Helen Zille personally. Everything that's happening in Gauteng and my neck of the woods is of her personal decisions. So I think that is the one side. And Herman Mashaba basically has said, and it's not only Herman Mashaba, it's us, people of members, and that said, look, we're not going to work with the ANC, they're corrupt, they're bad, doing bad things, but things are changing. There will never ever be a one-party government in South Africa anymore, not in a legislature, not in a municipality, and that is a given fact. So we have to work with each other. So what Herman Mashaba, when the ANC contacted Herman Mashaba, he said, okay, I want you to do a few things for me. and this is in the city of Johannesburg, I want you to do a few things for me. I will agree to work with you on conditions of a few things. We want you to reverse the 200 Rand charge that you give for all the people that got prepaid electricity. We also want you to remove this incompetent mayor, and also we will take up the speaker in council's position there. And that's basically what the arrangement was, and that is what actually happened. In the interim, when this happened, the DA was already trying to set up something with the ANC there, and then they didn't want to take part in this whole thing. And that is why Herman Mashaba came in and said, I have to rescue. I stay in Johannesburg. I have to do something about it. We are neglecting the citizens of the Johannesburg, the city of Johannesburg, and the taxpayers and everybody there. Look at the streets, look at the service delivery. All right. Now, from a Swane point of view, yeah, is that at that stage, the ANC contacted Herman Mashaba and said, look, we got to speak to you about Swane. All right. So there's already now, what actually happens behind the screens in Swane is that there's this thing about this DA-led parliament in Swane, which has been a problem for Action SA councillors for a very, very long time. And when this motion of no confidence was brought, and this is not the first one, the last one, this is an ANC decision, it's not an EFF decision or an Action SA or any other political party. So that decision has been made by them and by the ANC. Now, at this time is that there was a lot of things that they wanted now, the ANC wanted Action SA to work with them. And they said, listen, we must just first take some time and we have to investigate this because we have got some concerns that was raised by the people of Swane. And they asked for the 2 week and that was postponed, and then they had the later one. And Herman Mashaba sent Michael Beaumont to the city of Swane to speak to all the structures and to all the councillors. And he then, the people agreed to take a 2 week to go and do an assessment of what is happening in Swane. After this, part of the assessment was to do polls to see what the people are saying in Swane, and also go and have to look at why are there so much failures in service deliveries, specifically into the township areas of Swane. And that was done. Teams were sent out, and they reported back to the Senate with the national chair. At that stage, Herman Mashaba was still overseas. And that was formulated and was presented to Senate, and the Senate said, yes, we will cut our ties with the DA. Now that DA cut was all of a sudden a big thing now in all the media, and especially the Afrikaans media. Everybody was saying, Herman Mashaba, you will never work with the ANC. Herman Mashaba, you said this. Herman Mashaba, why have you changed your mind? Because the reason why they are saying all of this is because they never thought that Herman Mashaba and the Senate, it's not Herman Mashaba, it's the Senate and the people of Action SA will work with the ANC. And that is where we stand today.
So Lauren, you know, the reason why, me personally, I'm worried about parties like the DA and Action SA and other political parties that are linking themselves with the ANC, because it looks like, from my perspective, it looks like ANC is going to bring all of these political parties down with them. Because you look at the DA right now, the supporters of the DA, they are not happy about the fact that ANC continues to implement the policies that the DA hates, and the DA is standing there and doing nothing. The DA said, no, if you sign the Bella Bill, then we are out of the government of national unity. We no longer want anything to do with you. And what did Ramaphosa do? He went ahead and signed the Bella Bill. And right now, Ramaphosa is talking about the NHI. And we know these are the policies that the DA hates. We can debate about that, but that is the story for another day. But the point of the matter is that the DA hates these policies. The DA hates what the ANC is doing. The ANC sidelined the DA in Johannesburg. Panyaza Lesufi refused to work with the DA in Johannesburg. Right now, the same ANC took out the DA mayor in Tshwane. So the supporters of the DA, they are very frustrated with the DA and saying, how many times are you going to allow these people to backstab you time and time again? So I believe that the DA might suffer. And again, you look at Action SA, the position that they have taken. And right now, Action SA is working with the ANC. And what's going to happen is that if ANC gives Tshwane a horrible mayor, guess which political party is going to suffer the most? It's Action SA, because Action SA had a lot of credibility. And now you gave your credibility to the ANC, and the ANC delivers an incompetent mayor to the people of Tshwane. And now people are going to say, Action SA, if it wasn't for you, then ANC was not going to give us this horrible person. So what I'm trying to say is that I think these political parties are going to be brought down by the ANC. What do you think?
I think that our political system has reached its expiry date. There's no win-win situation for anyone here. I was just listening to what Uma was saying about the Moonshot Pact as well, and what a joke that those parties took us for, because they pretty much promised that the ANC would never be in power, but now we have this government of national unity, and the ANC, knowing their power, knowing their support, their corporate support, their funded support, is just doing what they blatantly want. And honestly, when it comes to DA being outspoken against the bailable and such things like that, sometimes it seems like, with regards to the relationships that they're making within our government nationally, that it's a show, it's entertainment. We need to see politics as an entertainment industry, but unfortunately it's a little bit more serious than that, because it's messing with people's literal lives. We need to look at this beyond the current political system and beyond party politics, and realize as a people, as a nation, that our country has reached its expiry date with regards to our current political system, and we have to start looking very intensely at the legitimacy of the current party political system in our country. And just on that note, there is a public participation panel doing the rounds. We have until the end of October to actually speak about that. We will never see eye to eye, all the different parties that are currently in government, never ever. They'll never be able to work together. And so we need to forge a different way of electing our leaders, because this is just not going to work. And the more that government and politicians and government officials and departments fight with each other, the worse off South Africans are going to be. So just remember that we've reached our expiry date. We should have changed the political system a long time ago. We need to improve it so that we can have more transparency between the decisions politicians make in government and then what the people actually want and need.
Yeah. So,
Thomas,
yeah.
Thomas, yeah, sorry, I'm listening to what she's saying. Yes, I forgot just to add at the end, when you asked the question about the mayor. Currently, the acting mayor is the deputy mayor, which is Dr. Masipi Moya. She's from Action SA.
Action SA, yeah.
Yeah, and she's a highly qualified person. She's also not only in her qualifications, but in her experience. She's actually 4 years in the senior management of the city of Tshwane before she took up the position of the deputy mayor. Yes, and I really believe she's a person with impeccable character. I also say this because what Herman Mashaba was saying in the media about the mayor, what he was saying is that if the ANC can bring somebody better than what we are offering for this coalition, they are welcome to come and speak. And I think that is the message that he's giving. And I honestly believe that she will be inaugurated as the new mayor. I believe so, yes.
So Action SA will too be fielding its own mayor?
Yes. Action SA has proposed the mayor. I don't know if I don't see anything that's going to be otherwise. I saw actually the ANC Youth League saying that they support the candidate as well. In the Tshwane Youth League, they support the candidate for Dr. Masipi Moya as the mayor.
So, is there a chance? So, if ANC does not support the Action SA's mayor, so what is the recourse?
Then we're going to start. Then we're going to start becoming like Helen Zille. We're going to throw our toys out the cot. No, we won't do that. But that's another day's story. I mean, I don't know how that women and how I can't even see that people that are supporting the DA can tolerate that. I mean, really, it's just. But in any case, no, we're not going to do that. I think Herman is a kind of person that goes into negotiations, with give and take, and I think that is what she's also saying. If you're not prepared to give and take, then if you have the arrogance attitude, it's not going to work in negotiations ever, never. So I'm giving it 9 out of 10 that she will become the mayor in Swane.
Yeah. So anyway, good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 360 experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. I have Lauren Bernardo, and I also have Uom Gobaskutse.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, it's a very good afternoon. And that breaking news, former Judge John Hlophe will remain barred from attending the Judicial Service Commission interviews after the Umkhonto weSizwe party lost its legal battle. The Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg delivered its judgment on the MK party's urgent application just a few moments ago. Senator Ngcobo joins us in the studio to walk us through what's determined Judge Wilson to come up with that position, Xander.
Well, in his 12-page judgment, Judge Stuart Wilson unpacked the various issues that we heard in court yesterday. So, for an example, there was a big debate about whether or not the full court's decision in the Western Cape High Court was an interlocutory application / interim order, and that wording being used interchangeably was also a subject of debate. And if it is an interim order, then as per Section 18(2) of the Superior Courts Act, you cannot actually appeal an interim order. Now, Judge Stuart Wilson finding that it is interlocutory in nature, and therefore operationalizing, that order remains in place. In other words, the Judicial Services Commission was correct in its decision to say it will go ahead with its sitting as per that judgment that was handed down on the 27th of September. In fact, he says, the full court's order stands as a fact. And when it comes to this very issue, Hugo, in paragraph 9, Judge Stuart Wilson basically also goes on to say that he cannot say that the decision by the JSC was irrational. You heard Ngwako Mainesha yesterday arguing for the JSC. Basically, Judge Stuart Wilson agreeing with that full court that it's just a temporary restraint because of the fact that there's still part B of that particular issue in the Western Cape High Court, which is dealing with whether or not it really was rational to even designate Dr. John Hlophe to the National Assembly. In fact, we've heard today that that matter has now been expedited, and we're likely to hear the court's judgment on the 1st of November. Nevertheless, there was also the other issue of the validity of the other 5 designees. Now, you would have heard from Vuyani Ngalwana and Dalimpofu, who were representing John Hlophe and the MK party respectively. They were basically saying that if the Western Cape High Court does eventually find that it was irrational to send John Hlophe to the JSC on behalf of the National Assembly, then the other 5 designees should be affected. Well, Judge Stuart Wilson also speaking about that, saying that the full court's decision does not taint the others in the first instance. The second thing that he mentions is that no one had actually asked the full court, being that of the Western Cape High Court, to consider the standing of the others. So in other words...
So, guys, the reason why I'm bringing back this conversation is that, guys, you remember that I had a conversation with you specifically about this topic of Josh Hlophe and how we live in an insane country and how everything is possible. I remember Lauren said that, nah, this is just politics. This is not going to happen. Even Uom said, no, man, no. The DA is reaching, man. The DA, we are not going to listen to the DA because these people are reaching. But guys, it seems like my predictions actually came true, and we live in an insane country, and what we thought will never happen actually happened. So, Lauren, what are your thoughts? Because as soon as this judgment came out, You are the first person that came to my mind, and I was like, "Jeez." I wonder what
imagine.
Lauren and are going to say, because they vowed last time that this will never happen. But it seems like the DA got its way.
I suppose I was considering a more rational world with more rational people, and I've never ever trusted the judicial system, the so-called judicial system. And it just makes me question the integrity of the judges in the Western Cape High Courts. I know with the previous Constitutional Court case with Jacob Zuma, where they sentenced him to prison, technically in itself would have been an unconstitutional act, because it's not their responsibility to sentence people to jail. So again, it's politics, but we're also seeing influences within our legal systems that we can't rely on. And I think we just, if I was the MK, I would just focus on organizing people on the ground quietly and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I wouldn't play in the territory of the justice system or the political system. I mean, you have your seats in parliament, good for you, but just focus on the ground, focus on raising organized people that can really rattle things here in South Africa. That would be the best thing for them to do at the moment.
Yeah, and this is a huge blow to the MK party, because they didn't think that it was going to get here. But it looks like finally the DA has got their way, and it looks like we live in an insane country where we can actually expect anything. What are your thoughts about this whole Judge Hlophe thing?
I think that it's actually threefold. Looking at what's happened there in that specific case, it was a technicality that they wanted to take to court. And that is actually wasting money, time, things like that. We are aware of that prosecuting authority and all our courts and high courts and Western Cape courts, there has been some influence of people that don't believe in democracy or the actual democracy and the Constitution of South Africa, and it's been hollowed out, and we are aware of that. My take on this, number one, is unfortunately there's a flaw in the Constitution which actually says that any person from any political party can join the JSC. There's a flaw, because nobody ever thought that a judge can be impeached or any other person can be impeached. That was never thought that this can happen to the government of South Africa. So there is a flaw there. The government played a bit of the National Assembly actually played a bit of a game here, because they didn't want to be seen to say, no, you can't go. We can have a vote. The majority would have voted. The ANC played that game and said, look, let the courts decide on that. So, excuse me, that is why the DA and other organizations, Accountability Now and Law, what's the other, they all went to court. It's not only the DA.
Yeah.
So yes, my saying is that it's not Judge Hlophe, it is Dr. Hlophe. The judge part has been removed, so we, it is so, it's a fact of life, whether you say it or not. He's not Judge Hlophe anymore. That's been removed, it's Dr. Hlophe. Yeah, but I agree with what you're also saying, that why don't just focus on the right things, go on the ground, get your thing. You can actually become a bigger part, you can play a bigger role, do some things, although it's seen as a family political party, but you can do something good for the people out there. Maybe, I don't know. I think it also starts with the thing that this has become a thing of Jacob Zuma with these things. He always say, I want my day in court, but he never wants his day in court. He just kicks the can down the road again, and then they sit and they play this thing. So our system is is this way that this can happen. It can carry on for years. If you've got enough money, you can kick the can down the road till you die. So I just think that the moment I hear Dali Pofo is representing somebody, I know this case is going to be lost. I mean, just watch him in any of the cases. He's got like papers all over the place, and yes, yeah. And when he sticks his hands out to the front, it's like begging the judge by saying, I think we must take it, we must talk, then I know, here comes something, or I'm going to help you. When he says, I'm going to help you, then I know, yeah, we go. And you can see, just look at the people behind him, they're actually laughing at him, But yeah, I think it's something which the law must be made. This thing's going to run up to the Constitutional Court. I can tell you that. There's no other way. It's going that route.
So, Lauren, because me personally, when I'm looking at this, let me play the devil's advocate. This person has been impeached, and now you have been impeached. And Jacob Zuma and the MK party, they know very well that there are no laws to actually deal with the judges that have been impeached. So I still believe that this is the fault of the ANC, because I believe that the ANC has been governing the country alone for such a long time. This is one of the things that they should have focused on and see, like, guys, what's going to happen if a judge gets impeached? But it looks like the ANC, they didn't even care about even having that kind of conversation. So Jacob Zuma knew that, okay, there was a loophole because there is no law that actually deals with such cases. But like I said, let me play the devil's advocate. Do you think that it was going to make us look good for the fact that we have an impeached judge sitting in a committee that recommends the judges and that disciplines the judges? How do you think that was going to make us look to the people outside? Because I think that the judges in the High Court, I think they did not actually look at the rules and everything. I think they just looked at it like no, man, you cannot have someone who's impeached sitting in that committee. How do you, if MK Party had won this case, how do you think it was going to make us look to the outside world?
I don't care about the outside world. I actually think it's very poetic. It's poetic justice, because here you have someone that's a victim of a current judicial system that has every constitutional right to stand within a committee. And remember, the committee is full. It's a lot of people. I can't remember the exact number. What was it, 18 or something? It's a lot of people in the committee. And yes, one person that's been on the receiving end of disciplinary action within the judicial system. So having that perspective is refreshing, I think, that he will play like the devil's advocate. He'll be one person that could just be that voice of reason when everyone's on a witch hunt against someone, for instance. So I actually think these things within our democracy not necessarily is a loophole, but could actually be a safeguard.
So, do you think that Umkhonto Wesizwe is going to let it go? Because I don't think they're going to let it go. I've been watching their interviews ever since the judgment has been handed down, and it looks like MK Party is not going to let this go anytime soon.
I first just want to say something. I think we will harm the integrity of this selection of them if we allow somebody that has been impeached. Secondly, I don't think Zuma lives on court cases, and he will be in court for all armed skill running for how many years now. So he's going to do something else. They're going to carry on. Because he gets publicity through that, and he loves to have that publicity. And publicity is saying, they're killing me. Look at what they did. This is my member of parliament. He's been impeached. So, what's wrong with that? So he plays that role. And so I don't think they're going to stop. It's going to carry on and on. It is what you are saying, in a way, that, maybe he plays the devil advocate side of the things. Yes, I think there is merit in that as well. But I just think that we as society must rather pick the right people. or let's do rather what you are saying is we're not going to pick any politician to go into that committee. Then
Yeah.
we would maybe that would be a better thing. Don't allow any politician, so that would be to me a better choice of people.
Yeah.
But then the politicians are going to promote somebody to go there in many cases. So we're back to square one. That would be my suggestion, that the public must vote and say this is the people that we want to be represented there.
So, Lauren, when you see stories like these, do you feel vindicated that we have actually reached the ceiling?
Oh, absolutely. I just wish more people would recognize it. So instead of saying, oh, this party's bad, we need another party in charge, I just wish people could see that we could exist within South African democracy where people elect independents instead of electing parties. You take out the middleman, you take out the mafia bosses, you take out the funded organizations that are fielding candidates, and instead the voter is in charge of who the candidate is and which candidate comes into power. And you can also put specific checks and balances in that will have a far more reaching effect than the current political system we have now, where there is no recourse if you don't like your person that's in charge of your local council or your mayor. It's all the parties. The parties are having all the fun. The parties are having all the arguments. The parties are having all the fights between who stays mayor, who gets kicked out, and the people have zero say. So I think as a democracy, we've matured past the point where we need to rely on parties to make decisions for us, and we need to make decisions for ourselves with regards to who the candidates are and who we actually vote for. Vote for them directly.
Yeah, because I believe that this is going to make Hlophe a hero anyway. Because if they start coming up with the laws, guess what? People are going to call that laws the Hlophe laws, because they came up with those laws because of Hlophe. So Hlophe is going to be a hero at the end of the day. So, guys, but I want us to look. There's another story that actually happened during the week. The EFF chairperson in Gauteng allegedly survived the assassination attempt. We also saw that through the statement of the EFF on social media. I'm only going to read the first paragraph. It says that the EFF condemns the assassination attempt on Gauteng chairperson Nkululeko Dunga. The Economic Freedom Fighters strongly condemns the attempted assassination of our Gauteng chairperson, Kommissar Nkululeko Dunga, which took place in the early hours of Wednesday. This attack on his life occurred at his home, where his family, including his partner, 2 children, and grandmother, were present. At approximately 12 a.m., suspicious footsteps were heard on the roof, prompting Commissar's son to request for a security check. By 2 a.m., while security personnel, while conducting his rounds, he was ambushed and shot at, and had to fight at least 3 armed killers before 8 assailants jumped off the roof. And there's another story, again linking to the political assassination. There's another story of a ANC activist in Mpumalanga. His name is Sizwe Nyambi. Sizwe Nyambi has been shot 7 times after he exposed the water tank mafias that is happening there in Mpumalanga. So, guys, what do you think about these stories, man?
It's actually very sad, Thomas. We cannot allow these kind of things, irrespective of what political party they belong to. You cannot, because you don't like, no, I'm going to take out my gun and going to shoot you. This is not what our country should be. And you see, there is so much strict on the laws of guns and that sort of thing, but there's so many illegal weapons and things like that. I mean, we've seen now what's happening in Natal. I mean, that's been going on for years and years, political killings there. I mean, now it's spreading to other places as well. Yeah, as a politician, your life is in danger, whether they don't like what you do, and especially with these I do believe that these mafias sit behind these kind of killings. They've showed the people for extortion. They don't care what life is. They'll come and they'll kill your whole family, your children, everybody. So yes, it's a very sad events that's happening in South Africa.
Yeah, Lauren.
another reason why political parties should not exist. I know it might sound radical to some people, but there are alternative ways to elect our leaders. It should not be life-threatening to represent the people of the country, and it should not be life-threatening to be an activist, although in our history throughout the world, throughout decades and centuries, it's obviously been life-threatening to be an activist. But in this day and age, in 2024, in South Africa, for someone's life to be at risk because they're exposing corruption in local government, an activist for the very party who's the ruling party in that local government is just unthinkable. And let's not forget, people are without water right now, and that guy is fighting for his life in hospital, when all he was trying to do is hold accountable the local government officers. It's absolutely unacceptable. And within that specific case, I believe the members of that party should hold the party accountable, because if they just accept what's happening, the abuse will continue on and on and on. So unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. That's wishful thinking. And again, the best thing to do would be to dissolve the political party system and implement a system where we elect people directly. That's the only way we're going to get rid of this gangsterism hold that is over our country right now.
Yeah, and looking at this whole situation, especially the situation with the EFF, I will start with the situation with the EFF. The chairperson there surviving an assassination attempt. I felt, you remember the last time when we spoke about the death of Pravin Gordhan and how people actually responded to the death of Pravin Gordhan. And I feel like right now the EFF is experiencing the same thing, even though Nkululeko Dunga has not been shot, he has not been killed. But I feel like even if you read the people's comments, if you go on social media, people are saying, no, the EFF, you are the one who is always shouting, fight, fight, fight. You are the ones that is almost promoting violence. And now that violence has come to your doorsteps, what do you expect us to do? And this is the same thing that we were talking about, that we cannot allow ourselves to get into this hole where we don't have any feelings, where we don't feel anything. I mean, like, just imagine this guy, he had his wife, 2 children, and his elderly grandmother in the same house, and there were people on top of his roof. But people hear that story on social media and they cannot even show remorse, because they are saying, no, you don't deserve our remorse. You remember what you said about the guy a couple of weeks ago. So what do we do, to get out of this position? Because this is not going to benefit us. All of us are going to face something like this at some point in our life. These people were saying, no, we don't care about Gordhan. Yeah, he's a thief, he's a what? Even though he was dead, his children could see the tweets, his family could see the videos. They didn't give a damn. But the same people now are crying because violence has come to their doorsteps.
Thomas, it's still sad. But I don't know exactly what was the reasoning behind all this, and it's not because of exposing these things. There's people that are getting money from these, so it's the government giving them a contract to go supply water. They cut off the local supply water, and then they can supply more water, and they get a lot of money. And from that money goes into some politician's pocket. That I don't have any doubt of that. So maybe maybe they started not giving any piece of the cake to the EFF at that stage anymore, and he was said, okay, I'm going to expose you, or they were getting nothing and they want a piece of the cake, so I really believe there will be something sinister to that. I don't just see that as, look, I'm going to expose you. I told the people that this is the mafia, and then boom, yeah, I'm getting an attack on my life. This must have been an ongoing thing for a while before they got to that point. Maybe it was just a warning for him to keep quiet, so that's another thing.
So, Lauren, do you think that this actually tells us that we should tone down on the violent political rhetoric in the country? Because you can laugh at one person today, but tomorrow it could be you, literally.
Yes, I think we have lost touch with our humanity, really, in essence. I think on Twitter, especially on X, people say things that they would never say to someone in person.
Yeah.
And that's what social media has done. It's made people very callous and hard and harsh. I feel for anyone that has a family to look after. If you're in politics, you obviously immediately make enemies ideologically, but we should all as a people collectively have the maturity to separate politics from our individual humanity. So you might believe in principles, ideologies that I absolutely despise. Shouldn't change the fact that I see you as a father, as a son, as a brother, and as a human being on this planet. And unfortunately, we're just not there democratically. I think, like you said so often, Thomas, the political identity which people have attached themselves to is so overwhelmingly strong that we actually lose our common sense. And I think it's terrible that it's life-threatening to be a politician. It shouldn't be that way. And it just shows that our democracy, there's something really wrong with it.
Yeah. Yeah, because me, when I heard the story, man, I was shocked. I was shocked. Just imagine people all over your house with machine guns and everything. Like, I remember when I covered the story, I said, man, I hope Nkululeko Dunga and his family are okay. I hope they are safe, because I cannot even imagine how it would feel. You with your children inside the house, with your mother and elderly mother, and people are roaming around with machine guns. And I think this position that we have decided for ourselves, I think one day we are going to regret, whether we like it or not. And looking at Mpumalanga, at that person that has been shot, that ANC activist, the ANC literally refused to release a statement condemning such action, because we want to give space to the investigators. These people could not even release a statement condemning the shooting of that young boy.
Thomas, my heart goes out to that family, and I agree with that. There's people, there's family. He has loved ones. Maybe he's a politician or something, but a child. It's always these child come into the thing. I mean, we've been seeing the drug lords and the people in the Western Cape, where how many children get killed in the crossfire, and it's absolutely sad. And I'm sure that we, as people, can do something about it. The government can do something about it. They can get the police to investigate faster, and I know they say they're not. They always say, you know, we wait for the outcome of the investigation, because they sometimes want the investigation to go in a certain direction. So yes, I condemn that. Definitely, I condemn that.
But Lauren, can you just imagine the political, like, you would expect someone like Ramaphosa to actually say something when something like this happens. You would expect the whole president of the country to say that, guys, we are not we condemn what actually happened. As the ANC, we do not stand for violence, and we want the people that actually shot that person to be found and to be held accountable. This is a big story, and I believe that people are not paying attention to it, but it is a big story. Just imagine 7 bullets on, like, this guy is an ANC activist. He talks about the issues that are affecting the people on the ground. This guy joined the ANC because he literally wants to change people's lives. He wants people's lives to actually be bettered. There are also reports that this guy also used his money to actually help the people into the same community. But today he has been shot, and the ANC refuses, Lauren, they refuse to release a statement just to condemn. They are not saying that, no, we are going to interfere with the work of the police. No, it has nothing to do with interfering with the work of the police or the investigation. Just tell us as the ANC that you do not want something like this. You condemn such thing, but the ANC refuses to condemn this.
Well, we are not led. There are no leaders in South Africa currently. And something like this is evidence of that. What message does that send out to all other activists as well? If there are other activists in other local municipalities around the country, regardless of who's in charge in the government, if they want to expose something, they're going to think twice now. So again, it's gangsterism at its best. We are led by mafia bosses. That's about it. And I think the fact that, I mean, the president of the country, if he had to comment on everything that goes on like this, he'd be speaking non-stop from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed. He'll just be saying, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that, I condone this, I condone that. So I can understand in that regard there's probably some decision made that he's not going to comment on such things, but at the same time, I mean, as an ANC activist in an ANC local municipality, exposing corruption within the departments. I mean, he should be acknowledged and for the work that he's done in his community. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. I hope he leaves. I hope he resigns as a member. Firstly, I hope he survives, because it sounds like he was shot a lot of times. Seems a bit crazy. And I really, really hope that he does okay, that he pulls through, that he gets the best help that he can. The ANC should cover his medical costs, firstly, in the hospital. He should be sent to a good hospital, not like the one we spoke about two sessions ago. And then he should resign immediately. And I don't know, I think this is what makes it so hard. As I know many people as well that do their little bit in their communities to try and make life better for some people. But if that starts becoming a threat, then what? Then where do we stand as South Africans? What's going to happen? We're just going to become some backstreet alley country. That's what's going to happen. And with criminals in charge, criminals taking up leadership roles, and criminals just doing what they want to get their way. Who benefits at the end of the day? It's definitely not the people, but it's within the people where we have the power to actually make the changes, if we're willing to.
Yeah. I believe this is, I honestly believe that this was a one story that was supposed to be all over the country. I believe that this is a one story that all of us should actually be talking about. But it looks like even the media is like, no, we are not giving you airtime. Even on television, they just gave him like a couple of minutes. But if you really listen to the story and what actually happened, you can tell that, man, this is something big. This is a big story. But no, for some reason, they don't care. For some reason, they don't care. Maybe the media in the country believed that there is not enough juice into the story, so we are not even going to bother ourselves with that. But I honestly believe that it is despicable for the ANC to not even say anything. Even the ANC regionally, the ANC there in Mpumalanga. Okay, let's forget about the ANC nationally, but the ANC in Mpumalanga, no, we are not saying anything because we don't want to interfere with the investigations. I believe that it is ridiculous for these people to actually say that. And if anything, it makes them look suspicious, because right now people are saying, why can't you even release a statement? Now the ANC in Mpumalanga, they look suspicious. People are saying, no, the ANC in Mpumalanga is run by nothing but mafias. Now they are not happy with people saying that you guys are mafias, but the same people refused to release a statement. What is this?
Thomas, it's ridiculous. We must also remember that there are, is it 85 or 86 people that get murdered every day in our country? I mean, that is a fact that is given. So we don't see life as it should be. It's become inhuman for people to react to that, to do these things, to kill people. It's sad. I mean, what is the outside world thinking of what South Africans are doing and how they live? We don't know. If we finish our meeting this morning and we go out, if you're going to get shot, you don't know that, or get killed, or robbed, hijacked. You don't know. It's just happens everywhere in South Africa. It is it's like an illness that we have, that we can't, like a cancer, we cannot cure it. It is, but the president of South Africa should come out and say he condemns this, go out to the people, go speak to them. I mean, we had that, how many people were killed in Natal about a week ago? 17 or 19 in one
18.
house or something like that. Huh?
18 people were killed.
I mean, really? Where is this going to stop? Should we get proper enforcement into the United Nations, or get people to come to South Africa to come and help us, because we seem to be incapable of solving these murders and these extortions and these mafias and these things. We should get help. If we can't do it, we must get help.
Yeah, I don't think we can get help, man. Those guys from the UN, once they come, they won't leave.
Well, maybe that's what we all need.
If they come, they won't leave.
No, we're not a chance, eh? I just need to interject there. I definitely do not think any international organization has our best interest. Just look at how Western imperial countries are benefiting from our minerals. It suits the UN and other nations just fine that we are rotting to the core here in South Africa. So they're definitely not going to come to our rescue. We're on our own. As the people of South Africa, we are on our own, and we need to stop being distracted by politics, work together, and replace the current systems that are ruining our lives and our children's lives. That's the only way. There's no one coming to rescue us.
And Lauren, you know, especially when it comes to this issue of politics, man, you know, okay, fine. People like the senior citizens, people like okay, these people, they've been there for such a long time, like, you know, but you would actually believe that
I survived all the time, eh?
yes. So, but you would think that the new generation would actually pave a new way, because if you look at the people that were active back then in apartheid, those people, they actually paved a new way for us to be here today, because it was an oppressive regime, but those people would actually put their lives on the line so that the country can be better. Black people, Indians, white people, like those, like, people who were putting their lives literally on the lines. Some white people, they are still called the sellouts today because they would not vouch for apartheid. Some white people are still called the sellouts because they would say, no, but these people, they deserve to be treated like humans. So those people back then, they actually paved a way for us to be here. But we are here already, and we don't have the people that are paving the way for us forward. And we, if anything, we are just stuck with everything that has happened in the past. And I believe this is one of the most frustrating things, because people do not actually realize that these politicians are the ones that are actually holding us back as the country. Like this is one thing that actually frustrates us. You can see, even when the Springboks has won, you come to township, the people who has never watched rugby, you will see people celebrating. You'll see people with the Siakolis t-shirts celebrating. Why? Because the national team has won. You go online, then you have the activists telling people that you cannot even celebrate with these people. You cannot even celebrate with these people. And when you are sitting down as someone who is objective, you can actually see that these politicians are the ones that are doing everything in their power to make sure that we don't integrate. I mean, right now, me as a black person, I would love to spend a day with an Indian family to learn about where they come from, to learn about their food and how they conduct themselves. And I'm sure there are Afrikaners that would actually love to come to the townships for a week just to see how the people live in the townships. But
For sure.
this integration that we want, it seems like it is never going to happen, because as soon as the people try, not even come together, as soon as they attempt to come together, the politicians are there saying like, no, you cannot get close with those people. And what is frustrating is that the youngest generation today, they don't even see that these people are the ones that are stopping us from integrating. You look at the country, we are one of the most diverse countries in the world. I believe that by now I should know how the Afrikaners live. I should know how the Indians live. We have a lot of Muslims in the country. I would like to spend time with the Muslims just to understand where they come from, their faith and everything. But it looks like any of those things are not going to happen. They're not going to happen. And if they do, they won't happen in mass. It will just be a couple of people just deciding to go to the farm to spend a week with an Afrikaner family. But it won't happen in mass, and we need that to happen in mass so that we can understand that we are different, and it's okay for us to be different. It's okay for us to have different values. It's okay for us to want different things, and at the same time to align ourselves because of the things that we want, because of the same things that we want. But it looks like it is not going to happen. It is not going to happen, not in mass. It is not going to happen in mass. And Lauren, this is one of the things that actually frustrates the living out of me every day. Every day.
I can understand that. And again, I think it just goes back to leadership. The fact that we are leaderless. If we had different leaders that people could look up to, it would have such a profound effect on this country. You know, leaders with moral integrity, that are in touch with their humanity, that show compassion and kindness. We don't have that at all. Everything that's evolved in this country is to just uphold the economic system that is only benefiting a minority. And unfortunately, until that changes, it will stay this. Everything will stay the same. Everything that you speak about will stay the same. The fact that we are so divided by cultural and racial lines also benefits those in power, because as long as people don't like each other, don't want to mix with each other, and all the rest, then we won't change the government. Everything will stay the same. And even though we have a whole bunch of parties within the GNU, it's that same age-old saying, it's two wings of the same bird. The DA and the ANC are always in opposition with regards to their policies, but it's two wings of the same bird. That bird props up the status quo, which is not for the people at all. The government does not act in the interest of the people, doesn't matter which party is in charge, and will only ever look after big business interest. All people have to do is look at who funds parties and understand the role of parties is just to be a pawn to make sure that we, the people, stay divided, stay fighting, we shut up, we toe the line, we go to our jobs, we pay our tax, and we keep the system turning. And it's not sustainable. It needs to change. We cannot allow outside influences to direct how our government changes. We need to come up with the solutions ourselves. And that's the only way to do it.
And I'm listening to the politicians. And, you know, again, one thing that actually frustrates me, is that these politicians that are doing everything in their power to make sure that people are divided, they integrate with other races. They integrate with other races. You look at the most racist politicians in the country, their children are there in the predominantly white schools. They are there. When they seek for medical attention, they go to the private hospitals. They go to Europe. They go all over the place to integrate with other races. But they come back home and they say, no, you're not even allowed to have a conversation with such and such. Like it's insane.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I've been, sometimes I feel ashamed to be white and speaking Afrikaans in South Africa, really. I've never belonged to any political party ever in my life. I only joined in 2021 to join because I could see things are really going the wrong way, and we have to do things to that. As an activist, I'm on the ground. I know what it looks like in Soshanguve and Oliven and Atteridgeville and Hammanskraal. I know what the problems are there. And this is one of the reasons why Action SA has decided not to stay with the current coalition because of that. And if anybody wants to prove me wrong, we can go where the DA is in the Western Cape, where they say we rule, we rule best and we are so good and we're so smart ass. But go and have a look at Khayelitsha. Go and have a look at Langa. Go and have a look at Mitchell's Plain. Go and have a look at Elsie Safir. Those places have been there for ages. There is gangsterism, drugs. Have they done anything about that? And I spoke to one of the people there at Atteridgeville the other day. He says, you know, when we go down to the Cape and we can save a few bucks, or our family actually pay, we don't go to Constantia or Stellenbosch or Belleville or something. We go and see our families in the townships. And where we stay and where they stay is exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Not before democracy and not after democracy. So yes, I agree fully with you that people don't respect each other. They think they're better. They like to think that they are superior to other people. And that has come out so many times with, I have to say that, with the arrogance of the Democratic Alliance. There's no difference between them and the ANC. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, guys, there's a last story that I want us to check this out, man. You know, this is funny. You know, this whole VBS thing. This whole VBS matter, man. Like it's one.
No, Thomas, we've had enough of that. I don't think we should.
That is refusing to end because
Enough is enough. Because
I mean, like, can you just imagine when Julius Malema going on television to say that Naledi Pandor has benefited from the collapse of VBS?
But it got everybody's attention.
But Man. Come on, guys.
I think it's a very interesting ploy to get media attention. I really think that the EFF since the EFF since the whole losing third place thing will do pretty much anything to get some media attention. It was very funny. I think that the poor woman has retired. She's sick and tired of politics by now, and it's a desperate attempt. So luckily, I think that it got the airtime he wanted, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean,
Yeah, it did.
but
It actually was quite good because what he normally does is he knew that they're going to ask him about Floyd and brother Brian and how did they get the money and how can you buy such an expensive house, car, shoes, everything. And now he comes in and he doesn't want to answer that. So his first thing is Naledi Pando. So this guy interviewing him says, "Oh shit! I never thought that. I never heard this. I have to ask him immediately. So it's already moved away from his issues." What a mess! I think that the ANC definitely benefited from the VBS scandal. Maybe not directly or in her case, but indirectly. There's a bag of money that will land up at Ntuli House in some way, So, what was funny for me is that she said no, she'll sort him out in the media. She never said that I'm going to get my lawyers on him immediately and defamation of character or something like that. So it was like, oh, maybe there is something, maybe he's now scratched open a small wound that's bleeding. So, yeah, there's a small fire and we put a bit of petrol on it now. So, yeah, there could be something, I would say, listen, yes, he's saying this to me and I'll get the lawyers to make a statement in due course. And but apparently she wrote a letter to him asking him to withdraw the words. I mean, hello. That's not the way it's done, So he got something out of her. He definitely got something out of her. And if there's a small little smoke, I haven't heard anything else about it yet, but yeah, we'll have to see what comes. Or Thomas, maybe you know something about it. You better tell us quickly because it's also interesting to know.
Yeah. Apparently, Naledi Pando has written to her lawyers to write to Julius Malema's lawyers to actually go out in public to apologize for insinuating that she has benefited from the collapse of VBS. And Julius Malema's lawyers returned the letter to say that, no, man, this is politics, man. This is a political discourse. But still, I don't think that he is going to apologize. But I believe that his lawyers just made an excuse for him to say that, nah, man, this is political discourse. Don't take it too hard. Sometimes as politicians, we like to take jabs at each other every now and then. And Naledi Pando, please, man, don't be so emotional about what you see happening, because this is just a political jabs. You know that every now and then you have to take 1 and 2 to your chest. But honestly, are we witnessing the death of the EFF? Because I cannot help but what they say, once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Are we literally witnessing the death of the EFF? Because with the rise
of MKP,
with the rise of MKP
absolutely
party, with the rise of
I
MKP
think the
party,
EFF
every day, every day,
it's amazing.
Every day with the rise of MK party, the EFF gets irrelevant each and every day. They try to pull all of these stunts, and the people, what is nice about today is that we have the social media. We can actually tag these people and tag these political parties to let them know how we feel about them in real time. So even when they pull these stunts in parliament, people are telling them that no, we are not impressed. We are not impressed. Even the leader of the party, when he comes out to attack the people that have decided to go and join the political people are saying, no, when did we start attacking people who are joining other political parties? Like, are we literally witnessing the death of the EFF? I saw a story during the week where they were actually polling and seeing that the EFF is going down. And it looks like the party is going down. And it looks like even the people that are managing the party, they don't know what to do to actually stop the decline.
Honestly, I think it's happening to all parties. It's obviously going to be more obvious with a smaller party like EFF that was third place and now it's fourth place. The media, mainstream media, only really has time for the top three parties. Very seldom do fourth place, fifth place, and so on get any airtime. So I think he's going to see the effects of that, and he needs to say more and more outrageous things to stay relevant. That's how our current political system works. And I think that he'll probably, maybe as a tactic, become more radical in his speeches, and definitely accusing someone without substantiating with evidence. That's a very dangerous thing to do for himself as well, legally. So that's quite interesting. So yes, I think we're going to probably see them shrink a little bit, get smaller. We've seen that a lot with ANC breakaway parties. We see how over the years they just get smaller and smaller and smaller until they obscure into insignificance, like the PAC, like COPE as well. Remember how they had such a, I think they had like 40 seats once upon a time. And I think, are they out now? Yeah, I think they're out of parliament now.
Yeah, they're out.
And it's sad to see, but that's just how it works. I think people are waking up. Remember how few people actually voted, let alone how few people actually voted for specific parties when you look at the entirety of the voting population. When the IEC gives the statistics, they give the statistics of registered voters, not unregistered voters. And so we're not seeing the bigger picture that people have lost interest in our political system. They've lost interest in these politics, these politicians that are turning politics into a joke. And, you know, unfortunately, you can't opt out of the system. You are subject to those that are ruling. So even if just 2 people go and vote in 2029, the rest of the country are still going to be led by those 2 in coalition, those 2 who got voted for. And that's the flaw in our system. It doesn't matter how few people vote, you are subject to inadequate rulers, because that's what they are. They're like rulers in a dictatorship. And yes, so they will probably get smaller. The EFF will probably get smaller. The MK, I'm not sure if they'll get that much bigger. The problem is with political parties is not just the system, how it affects us, the voters, but how internally it always results in infighting, factions, which causes breakaways, and the cycle just repeats over and over again. So while a party might have a mandate to do X, Y, Z based on their ideology, there's infighting within that party that prevents them from actually reaching their goals and growing as an organization to meet their objectives. And unfortunately, that's why I will always go back to how the system needs to change, how we need to get rid of the power that political parties have. And we as voters need to vote for independence. I think that what I've set out in my mind, what South Africa needs, I think it's happening at a snail's pace right now. As we see how the GNU is crumbling in its foundation, how parties like the EFF are losing credibility, media attention, and support. We are seeing this slow deterioration, almost like an atrophy of the political system, which will hopefully inevitably lead to improvement later down the line, as long as the people of South Africa stay wakey with regards to how we are being manipulated by what we are shown. Thomas, you actually spoke about media earlier, and how media doesn't focus, for instance, on articles where this activist, ANC activist life is literally on the line here for what he was doing. Media pretty much only talks about the top 3 parties and then anything with regards to the economy. When it comes to actual life on the ground, the things that you and I face daily, absolutely quiet. The media does not work for the people. The South African Police Service does not work for the people. Those are entities that work only for the government to maintain public order so that things stay the same. But if things stay the same, we will always suffer. So we need to change the trajectory of the future of South Africa.
Yeah. So, and Lauren also mentioned that it looks like all the parties, it looks like there's a tick that is going down, because even with the MK party, you remember how many people actually voted for MK party, but on the by-elections they are getting slaughtered. In the by-elections, it's almost as if people are saying, no, I only voted for this political party because of the hype, but now I don't want these people to actually be my councillors, because the MK party is not performing as expected in the by-elections.
No, you're 100% right. I think what Lauren is saying is that I don't know. I was thinking about something else, Lauren. Why don't we make it much easier for people to vote for the thing? And I think what a traditional thing is, people are also scared to go and vote. If they go there and they think that when they go and vote there, the people know because their name is there, they showed their ID book, and they think that they one of these people from the ANC, if they voted for MK, is going to come to their house and kill them. You know, so they have that is a fact, that is what's happening. Or I've got a 350 grant and that's going to be taken away if they see I'm voting for the Democratic Alliance, for that matter. So they have that mentality, they have that uneducation, they have that problem that we have with the system, you know. I hope that we don't go back to a one-party state ever again, because that doesn't work for the people of South Africa. There must be a coalition where people can keep each other accountable. I do believe that if we can just put trust in each other, which is very difficult, it's a word that doesn't exist in politics, but if we can just put trust in each other to work together, because at the end of the day, we are all activists, we are all here to do something good to give service to the people out there, for no other reason. Otherwise, we mustn't be activists. So that is the only aim that we must work for. I think that Jacob Zuma made a good call to say, come, let me bring Floyd in here. He managed to convince him, national organizer. First title that I've ever seen that in a political party, but that sounds lekker. National organizer, I'm going to get the chairs ready and the microphone and water and the guests are going to have nice soft chairs and high chairs, because typical African parties like most these big chairs, you know, like the king. The king is coming to sit there, you know. They don't sit on a plastic chair like you and me. No, they want this big, it must be high up your head. You know, you sit like, look, it looks like if you're only halfway, you're short because the thing is so big. But in any case, you know, it's just laughable, these kind of things. And why do they pretend that? And people are too materialistic on what car they drive, what shoes they have, the Louis Vuitton handbag, or you know, it's those are the kind of things that people on the ground say, no, our leaders must have that. They like that. I think it's wrong. You cannot talk about poverty if you are sitting in the luxury. You cannot go eat at the best hotels. You cannot, you know, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. Yeah.
It's a mess. So, Lauren, what would you like to say before I let you go?
So much. I was just how Kobus, I slightly disagree. I think optics plays a huge role. Right. No one's going to vote for anyone that looks like a homeless person. And if someone is partaking of the luxuries of what I call Babylon, I'd rather vote for someone that has climbed their way out of poverty than vote for someone that's still in poverty. And I think that holds merit. I just think our current politicians take it way too far. They take it to, I don't know how many levels too much. So I think that, you know, if I think of who do I want to vote, I want someone that has proven that they can be successful. Maybe they've started a business from nothing and it's successful today. Maybe they have, there must be a parent. I believe that politicians should definitely be parents. So because I think Thomas, you probably have kids, Thomas, you have kids. Your brain changes and your priorities change once you have kids. And so you understand the legacy that you want to leave behind for future generations. You don't just care about yourself, this life, and living in the moment. So, no, I understand the whole big chair throne thing. Optics is very important, and people want to vote for someone that is successful, not has the appearance of success. And that's what we are seeing today. People are putting on the appearance of success. They're faking it, and they're also exploiting the people and that is wrong.
It's actually what I meant. It's faking it. Yeah.
And Lauren, you know, you speak about business. You know, when you look at the American politics, they actually love people like that, especially when it comes to the governors. You know, most of the American governors, they are the business people. They have succeeded somewhere, and this is why people actually trust them. But if you look at us in this country, it's almost as if we only accept success when it comes to politically. How many business people are literally being vilified right now? If you are a businesswoman, Lauren, and you become successful, do not think that South Africans are going to look at you and saying, I want to be like Lauren. Lauren has managed to build a business. Right now in the country, all the business people are vilified. It doesn't matter if you build the business from the scratch. I mean, like right now, you can look, for an example, look at Herman Mashaba. You would say, okay, Herman Mashaba, I may not agree with some of the positions that you are taking. I believe that this is a suicide ride that is going to kill the party and everything. But at the end of the day, you have to give Herman Mashaba a credit for actually being able to build a business and saying that this guy managed to build a business from apartheid back then, when we were told that black people could not do anything. But people like Herman Mashaba were able to actually build businesses. And Herman Mashaba is not the only person. We know of many people in the townships. We know of many topis who had the taxis, they had the buses, they have built the supermarkets. But those people, we do not treat those people like heroes, because right now in the country, especially with this new phenomena, everyone who has succeeded in the business, you didn't succeed in business because you worked hard or because you had brilliant ideas. You succeeded in business because no, you conspired with the white monopoly capital. No, the only reason why you are a successful businesswoman is because you have conspired with the white monopoly capital. Like, we have such a disregard.
You're a sellout. You're a sellout.
Yeah, you are a sellout. Like, we have such disregard for the people who have succeeded in business in this country, the people that are building the business today. I mean, there is this guy who built a fashion brand. I think his name is Maxhosa. There is a clothing that is called Maxhosa. Like, it's a exquisite clothing. Like, it's very expensive, but I understand why it's expensive, because these people have put millions into those things. So this guy, while he was doing an interview on another podcast, he also mentioned that he had to meet with Johan Rupert's daughter, you know, in case of the business, because apparently Johan Rupert's daughter wanted to, you know, to showcase this clothing maybe to other part of the world. Lauren, people, they know that this guy built this business from the scratch, but the fact that he mentioned that the daughter of Johan Rupert was so interested to a point where she even made contact to help him. No, you are a sellout. There is no way. You do not own that anymore. So I know you talk. I know you talk about business. We should respect the people who have built the business, who have provided employment for a lot of people. But unfortunately, this is not where we are in the country. If you are not successful politically, if you have succeeded business, no, you are not good. Just like with Herman Mashaba, they will vilify him for being a successful business person. But you take Julius Malema, the person who has never had a work for in his entire life. He has never worked. He has been a politician all his life. But guess who people actually inspire to be like outside? They look at Julius Malema and say, yeah, Julius Malema is a true success. You look at Herman Mashaba. No, Herman Mashaba is not successful. Herman Mashaba is just a sellout. You see where we are as the country.
Yeah, I thought sorry, Dale, you can go, Laura.
Thanks, Kobus. I think we need therapy. The whole country needs therapy. But it's true, just think about it. I think a lot of us, not me, but I know a lot of people that were like beaten by their parents growing up. A lot of people in abusive spousal situations. I think as long as we on an individual level accept abuse, whether it's from parents or our spouses or whatever, as long as we justify that kind of behavior, we seek after it in politicians. And the minute a politician shows something that's unfamiliar to us, we get scared and we don't want anything to do with it. So look at the demographics of South Africa in terms of income, in terms of poverty, in terms of lifestyle. majority of South Africans are actually poor. Very few percent are wealthy. And so it makes sense that when a voter comes across someone that's displaying something different, then no, they don't want anything to do with them. They don't want to vote for them, and they're going to look for all the flaws, and they're going to criticize and all the rest. So I think that we honestly have to do personal internal healing. We have to go through a process, heal from childhood trauma, heal from current trauma, heal from abuse, divorce ourselves from toxic people in our lives, get to a point where we have self-esteem, and then we will see how we are being abused by those that are in power currently. So I'm serious. It sounds funny. It sounds like a joke, but we collectively all need therapy. The change starts with us. But until we recognize that we're in toxic cycles of perhaps abuse or whatever, we'll never actually break free from that. And if we don't break free from that, we are continuously going to elect psychopaths, narcissists, and abusers to lead over our lives. And that's why South Africa is the way it is right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lauren, and I think that the sale of Prozacs is going higher and higher in the country, you know. So I do believe that we all have to take introspection of what do we really believe, and are we standing, and are we I've spoken to so many people from all walks of life, and I really enjoy that, and I agree with Thomas saying we must learn how to eat with them. You know, when you can go to any of these places or any home there, the first thing they will ask you, can I offer you something to eat? Can I give you something? They are poor people, but they do that. You're coming into their house, that is the first thing. They want you to sit down, they want you to have something to eat with them. You know, we can learn from these people a lot, and I enjoy eating different foods. If you see my physique, you'll know that I'm very fond of I like food, you know. I mean, I've got a family that doesn't eat pap. I love pap, pap. I really enjoy pap. I can eat pap with any other dish, and but I enjoy the curries that you were saying about the Indian. They make the most beautiful, I mean, samosas, and they make all these nice foods, you know. We must just learn to work with each other, and we must understand each other, and just maybe stand up one day and say, today, whatever somebody else is going to tell me, I'm not going to go into an argument with that person. I'm going to just take it in and think about it, what they are telling me, and that will definitely work. Well, might need double therapy after that, but I think, yes, I make the point, and I think we must ask your listeners as well, you know, what do they think about therapy and Prozac, and but we have a crisis in the country. You know,
Yeah,
people are fed up. And
yeah, we do have a crisis.
we're going to extremes with each other. As she said, in social media, Lauren has mentioned that. We're going to extremes. It's getting worse and worse. I mean, it's not even, I mean, we can tell anybody to go to hell today. Where you would say, no, that's rude. You can't say that to a person. Now it's an everyday saying, you know, go to hell. Well, there's some F words and stuff in there as well sometimes, even, and then people don't care. So yeah, I hope that your viewers give us some feedback on this one. I just have one more thing, Thomas, that I would like to say is that, and that touches on everything. What a lot of people don't understand is one of the Lauren has touched that on many occasions, the ideologies of the political parties and what they actually stand for. And I would maybe suggest that we have a session sometime about that as well, because people don't know what the ideologies of political parties. Oh no, we're going to a rally today and we're getting a new t-shirt and they're giving us food. So, I like this party. You know, they don't understand what the ideologies is. And I mean, I saw an interview with Panyaza Nasufi, where he's explicitly saying that the National Democratic Revolution is taking a step on the side, but we will definitely move forward again. So yeah, the National Democratic Revolution is something that I think if there's 10% of the South African understand that, then there will be a lot. They don't even know what it is. And these are the kind of things that that we should also discuss sometime, Thomas. I really think it's important. What do you
Yeah.
say, Lauren?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, I know you can go ahead. I had something in mind.
Yeah, I think ultimately the political ideologies, most people often have based their identity on it, but it's such shallow stuff. What a party preaches and what they actually do are completely different things. And ideology doesn't feed people. Ideology doesn't build houses. Ideology doesn't fix things. And Thomas, you spoke earlier about the things that make us different that you'd like to experience, but also the things that we can unite around. Those things that we can unite around, that's what we need government to take care of. We need our lights switched on. We need adequate housing, like the Constitution says. We actually, these RTP houses, for instance, is a crime against humanity. We need homes in which families can thrive. We need communities where children are safe. Those are the things that government should be taking care of. That is it. The things that unite all of us. We need food. We need means to feed ourselves. We need safe communities to live in. We want to send our children to good schools, etc. Unindustrialized schools, that is. And so I think we need to help South Africans unideologicalize themselves. There I am creating words now. But that's pretty much it. So heal, divorce yourself from dangerous political ideology, and just try, participate as a citizen in a democracy and hold your leaders accountable. That's what I'd like to see in the future going forward.
And you know what you just mentioned, in terms of the ideology, and you, Lauren. I know, like, maybe like this is a take that many people might not actually like, but this is the reason why I actually prefer it when lesser people vote. I actually prefer it when lesser people vote. I remember I had a conversation with my friend, and I was like, man, sometimes we actually make noise about the fact that less people are voting, lesser and lesser people are voting. But don't you think that the people who actually take time out of their busy lives to go out and to try to take the country into a certain direction, those are the people that we need? Because if you look at the majority of the people and how easily fooled they are, you don't want these people to vote. Those statistics that are coming from the IEC, you don't want half of those people to vote. Because if half of those people were to vote, like, I can tell you now, they are going to vote for something that you don't want. So I would actually argue that the more lesser people vote, the more I'm comfortable. Because I don't want these people who don't even know what the political party stands for, the people who go to the rallies just for the fun of going to rallies to see the celebrities perform and the president of the party giving a speech. I don't want these people making decisions about my life. I want people to make decisions about my life to be the people that are competent, the people who actually understand what it means to actually vote and what the kind of power that we are giving to the politicians. So as far as I'm concerned, me personally, I don't want to lie. The lesser people vote, I'm happy with that. I know before the elections, I used to say, no, man, more young people need to come out and vote. But actually, you sit back and you watch young people and you look at what these people are consumed with. You look at what these people are paying attention to. I'm like, no, I don't want these people to make decisions about my life. So I'm quite happy with the fact that the majority of young people in this country are not voting because they don't care. I'm quite happy with the fact that a lot of people do not go out and vote because they don't understand their ideologies. If you want half of the people to vote, if that's those numbers of the IEC, you want half of them to vote, I can tell you right now, the ANC will be so the ANC will be so emboldened. You will wish for the government of national unity. I'm telling you right now. If half of those people, this is what Ramaphosa actually wanted. That's why he went around to say, no, they want to take your social grants. You see, these people, they no longer want you to take your social grants because he actually wanted to stroke those people, those ignorant people, to come out and vote. And if half of those people can vote, I can tell you right now, Lauren, you would wish for the government of national unity. I can tell you right now. So
I agree with you, Thomas. I actually saw one of the EFF guys going in Parliament. It was some time ago, and I thought that, can anybody just ask him to spell Marxism? That's all. Just ask him if he can spell Marxism, because that is one of their ideologies. Nobody asked him, but I wish, if I was there, I would say, just spell to the people of South Africa Marxism. Let's see if he can spell it. So that is the point that I say sometimes we have to talk about these things, you know. Yeah, it's a joke, it's a joke.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much, man, for joining me today. I hope that I'm going to have you throughout the week. I'm planning something with the both of you throughout the week, but I will keep in contact. Lauren, last words.
I think
What are you
that
going to say?
lots of things. But I think, you know, I really love this country a lot. I think we have a lot of hope, a lot of potential, and it's just going to take us waking up to that for us to see that potential actually come to light. And I hope that we just, while we're reading the news and watching these videos, stay awake to the manipulation going on. Heal from trauma, love yourself, and we'll see that we'll make better political decisions that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that I agree with Lauren. I just say that every day go out there, listen to what the people are saying, make your own opinion about things, if it's right or wrong. And from my point of view, I go every day. If I can help anybody in need, I will do that. And that is what I do from my point of view every single day. And whether it make a lot of people cross from time to time, as long as I can go to bed tonight and say I've helped one person or 10 people that day, then I feel very good about it.
Yeah. So that was it, guys, on the weekly news recap with Lauren Evantia Bernardo and Kobaskoti and myself, Thomas Mapa. So, guys, please don't forget to tell us what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabao. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye.